Children versus adults in second language learning. In the natural situation of language learning, it is determined that young children will do better than adults, and so will older children. It is not even uncommon for young children to learn a second language in a year or less. Therefore, children do better than adults. Factors involved in second language learning acquisition can be divided into two kinds: psychological and the social. Intellectual processing, which is involved in the determination of grammatical structures and rules. Intellectual processing. Explication and induction. There are only two processes by which one can learn the syntax of a second language. What is explication? It is the process whereby a second language's rules and structures are explained to the learner. Explication is rarely applicable to young children. Explaining is rarely done by parents or others when children acquire a native language, yet children by the age of 4 or 5 can understand and speak most of their native language quite well. They have learned the language by self-analysis, and induction. Induction learning rules by self-discovery is the essence of the process of induction. The child exposed to second language speech and remembers what he or she has heard will be able to analyze and discover the generalization or rule underlying that speech. The second language learner is always trying to figure out language by induction. In social situations, basically, we can cover the most important of them according to three categories: the natural, the classroom, and community context. The natural situation in which a second language is learned is one that is similar to that in which the first language is learned. It can involve social situations such as those involving family, play, or the workplace. The classroom situation involves the social situation of the school classroom. The community context allows students access to a natural situation outside of the class, thereby supplementing their classroom learning. Who is better, children or adults? In a natural situation, older children would do better than adults because they are medium-o natural situation and medium-high in both memory and motor skills. The natural situation is more favorable to children because adults generally undergo a marked decline in the quality and quantity of social interaction conducive to good language learning. Psychologically, while both children and adults have optimal powers of induction, and are able to induce the grammar of a second language more or less equally well, nonetheless, it will be easier for children to learn syntax than it will be for adults. In classroom situations, adults will do better than young children, because not only are they better in explicative processing but, simply put, they know how to be students. They have sufficient maturity to meet the rigors of a formal learning environment, where concentration, attention, and even the ability to sit still for a long time all play a role in learning. Older learners have cognitive experience lacking in small children, and, thus, can be better learners. A critical age for second language learning. In age of acquisition, the relationship between a learner's age and success in second language acquisition is the subject of much lively debate. According to the critical period hypothesis, there is an age-related point on which current researchers diverge, but it is usually within the puberty period, beyond which it becomes difficult or impossible to attain a native speaking-like competence. Second language, L2, learners who begin learning early in life and stay exposed to information and so learn across several years or decades, unquestionably outperform later learners in the long run and in immersion environments. This overall age impact is sometimes used as evidence for a so-called critical period, CP, for second language acquisition, despite the fact that it is misunderstood as an argument in favor of early foreign language training, which occurs in quite different circumstances, SLA. The critical period hypothesis states that the first few years of life is the crucial time in which an individual can acquire a first language if presented with adequate stimuli, and that first language acquisition relies on neuroplasticity. If language input does not occur until after this time, the individual will never achieve a full command of language. So, there is much debate over the timing of the critical period with respect to SLA, second language acquisition, with estimates ranging between 2 and 13 years of age. There is much debate over the timing of the critical period with respect to SLA, with estimates ranging between 2 and 13 years of age. Thanks for watching.